He was once a young boy drawing church buildings on the pages of his school notebook, long before he ever had a congregation. Today, Bishop David Oyedepo oversees one of the largest Christian ministries on earth, but it didn't happen overnight. This is the true story of how a quiet man with a clear vision, fierce discipline, and unshakable faith went from small-town beginnings in Nigeria to building a global movement that's touched millions of lives. Stay with this, because within his story are lessons that just might change yours. David Olaniyi Oyedepo was born on September 27, 1954, in Osogbo, western Nigeria, but he grew up in a small town called Omu Aran in Kwara State. He was raised in a religiously diverse household. His father, Ibrahim Oyedepo, was a Muslim and a civil servant. His mother, Dorcas, was a devout Christian, a woman of prayer, and the spiritual anchor of the family. It was his mother who introduced him to the Christian faith. At just 15 years old, she encouraged him to attend a series of revival meetings. That decision would mark the beginning of his lifelong journey. One moment in particular stands out. In 1969, during one of those meetings led by missionary teacher Betty Lasher, something shifted. David encountered what he later described as a personal spiritual awakening. From that moment, his life took a new direction. In the early 1970s, he went on to study architecture at Kwara State Polytechnic. He was talented, focused, and deeply ambitious, but even as he pursued a professional career, he couldn't shake the growing sense that he was meant for something more, something far beyond architectural drawings. Then, in 1981, something happened that would alter the course of his life forever. He retreated to a quiet place in Ilorin with the intention of seeking direction. For 3 days, he fasted and prayed, and on the third day, he said he heard these words clearly in his spirit: "The hour has come to liberate the world from all oppression of the devil through the preaching of the word of faith, and I am sending you to undertake this task." That moment became the founding vision of what is now known as Living Faith Church Worldwide, also widely recognized as Winners Chapel. But like most great missions, the beginning was anything but glamorous. With no congregation, no cathedral, and no money, he started holding meetings under a small makeshift structure. In 1983, he was ordained into full-time ministry by Pastor Enoch Adeboye of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, a moment that brought spiritual covering and credibility to his calling. In 1984, together with his wife, Faith Abiola Oyedepo, he moved to Kaduna and began holding regular services. The church was tiny, resources were scarce, but his commitment never wavered. He had a core message, one that centered on faith, prosperity, purpose, and the full potential of the human spirit under God. Many criticized him, some dismissed him, but he stayed focused. What made him different wasn't just what he preached, but how he lived it. Discipline, vision, and integrity became his trademarks. He documented every instruction he received in prayer. He journaled revelations. He planned decades ahead, and slowly, the work began to grow. If you're finding this story insightful so far, take a second to subscribe. These real-life journeys carry more than inspiration. They carry tools for life. Let's keep going. In the early 1990s, Bishop Oyedepo felt led to relocate the ministry's headquarters from Kaduna to Lagos. In 1998, that vision came to life with the groundbreaking of Faith Tabernacle in Ota, Ogun State. By 1999, the 50,000-seat auditorium was completed, debt-free, and in just 12 months. That building wasn't just large. At the time, it held the record for the largest church auditorium in the world. But Oyedepo didn't stop there. He believed that transforming lives wasn't just about preaching, but also about education. In 2002, he founded Covenant University, a faith-based institution with a mission to raise a new generation of leaders. Later, he established Landmark University and several secondary and primary schools across Nigeria. Meanwhile, Winners Chapel continued to expand across Africa, the United Kingdom, the United States, Asia, and beyond. Today, the church has thousands of branches in over 60 nations, but beyond the numbers was something deeper, a philosophy built on hard work, excellence, faith, and the belief that with God, no dream is too big. Bishop Oyedepo is not only a preacher but also a prolific author with over 100 books to his name. Titles like Understanding Financial Prosperity, The Unlimited Power of Faith, and winning the war against poverty have reached millions. His family life reflects his teachings, strong, consistent, and value-driven. He has been married to Faith Oyedepo since 1982. They have 4 children, 2 of whom are now full-time pastors and leaders in the ministry. Despite criticism and controversy over the years, especially around his teachings on prosperity, Bishop Oyedepo has remained consistent. To his followers, he is a spiritual father, a teacher, and a symbol of possibility. He doesn't seek validation in headlines or popularity. He believes in systems, in diligence, in prayer, and in building structures that last far beyond one man's lifetime. There's a quiet power in Bishop Oyedepo's story, not because it's filled with dramatic turns, but because it shows what's possible when clarity meets consistency. Here are a few grounded lessons we can all take away. Vision comes first, but action gives it life. Oyedepo didn't just dream. He wrote, planned, built, and worked daily on the vision he received. Faith is not passive. For him, faith meant discipline, work, and excellence, not waiting idly for miracles. Start small, but think generational. What began as a local fellowship under a makeshift shelter became a global network because the vision was never just about today. Leadership begins with self-leadership. He lived what he preached. From his lifestyle to his schedule, his values were evident in every area of his life. Education and spiritual growth are not opposites. Oyedepo showed that you can pursue both, that knowledge and faith can work together to build lives, families, and nations. Bishop David Oyedepo's journey is more than a religious biography. It's a blueprint, not just for pastors or believers, but for anyone who carries a vision in their heart. His life reminds us that where you start doesn't determine how far you go, only how faithful you are with what you've been given. If this story moved you, inspired you, or gave you something to think about, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep walking in purpose, keep building your vision, and keep believing in the power of a faithful life.